Welcome to Bus Driver Life. I am a real-life bus operator, currently in Sacramento, California. And bus stops, let's talk about bus stops. Bus stops can be a real challenge. It's a major part of the job because we are constantly pulling in and out of bus stops. And a lot of times it's fine, pull in to the bus stop, drop off, pick up, and pull back out. But sometimes we get stuck there, especially in the bus stops that are like cutouts, where you pull the bus completely out of traffic into its own little cutout space, and you can serve the passengers there. In some regards, that's a really good thing because the bus is clear of traffic can flow smoothly, and it minimizes the potential for a car or another vehicle to crash into the back of the bus. And for those of you that don't know, rear end collisions actually happen all the time to transit buses that are stopped at marked designated bus stops. People crash into the back of buses all of the time. Since I've been driving buses for 2 different transit systems in the Sacramento region, I know of several rear end collisions of buses at bus stops, parked at the bus stop, serving passengers. Several collisions where people have crashed into the back of the bus, even the side of the bus, while it's parked, not even moving.
He ain't lying.
One of the issues with the cutouts where we're able to pull the bus completely out of traffic is when we need to pull the bus back into traffic. There are so many situations where the vehicles will not allow us to get back in, especially on a very busy road. Like 99% of the time, nobody's slowing down or stopping or moving over for us to get back into traffic. It does happen sometimes. It happens. So maybe I'll say 92%. These aren't official numbers, so don't take this for concrete statistics. But at least 90% of the time, no one's letting us back in. Sometimes people will. Most of the time, they don't. As a matter of fact, there's even situations that I've experienced when I'm about to pull my bus back into traffic out of the cutout. I have time and space to do so. There are cars coming, but they're so far back, it allows me enough time to safely pull my bus back into traffic. And guess what that traffic way back there do? They will speed up. You will see them in the mirror speeding up because they do not want your bus to get back into traffic and back in front of them. They will intentionally speed up.
He ain't lying.
So in Chicago, and I've seen this in other places, they have what's called bus boarding islands. Check out this video. So here's what it says. Bus boarding islands equals faster service. Since buses don't have to pull in and out of traffic, they can stop like a NASCAR, hitting the pit lane, quick, smooth, and ready to roll. And of course, that's in the great city of Chicago, Illinois. Now, I will say, I don't think the bus boarding islands would make it super quick. One thing it will help with is us leaving the bus stop. We can just pull away. And honestly, here in Sacramento, we have a lot of cutout bus stops, but we do have some streets where there's not a cutout. So when we stop, the traffic behind us will have to stop, or they'll try and go around us. And it is a lot quicker. You stop, pick up, drop off, and then you can just go. I don't have to wait for traffic to allow me to get back into traffic from a cutout. So this does make the process quicker, and it's really cool for the passengers because we can keep moving, and it can shave a little time off so that we're not running so late. Because there are times when I've sat in a cutout for like 2-3 minutes trying to get back into traffic, especially when traffic is backed up. It's even worse when traffic is backed up and it's like a stop and go situation, because as traffic slowly moves forward, there's still no space being made for my bus to get back in there. And people say, these buses think they own the road. They think they can just get back into traffic. And I'm like, well, it seems like you all, the non-bus vehicle drivers, y'all are the ones that seem to think you own the road, because if you see a bus trying to get back into traffic, you're like, nope, you can't. That shows that you think that you have the entitlement to not allow a bus to get back into traffic. But then because that bus is trying to get back into traffic, you're like, you think you own the road. It makes no logical sense to me. Now, even with bus boarding islands, or when you're just stopping on a normal street at a bus stop that does not have any sort of cutout, there can still be delays with boarding and deboarding. It just depends on the situation, whether it's a wheelchair, someone having trouble finding their bus fare, their cards, whatever type of tap-on cards, or here in Sacramento, you can use your debit card or credit card to just tap on, but sometimes people still have to look for that and search through their wallet or the purse.
I can't seem to find my bus fare nowhere.
And they're like, oh, where's my card? So stuff takes time. So since this was posted on Facebook, it did have a lot of comments. Let's check out a few of those comments to kind of gauge how the general public is feeling about the bus boarding islands. Shall we?
No!
Great, so we can sit longer in traffic waiting for people to load. There you go. Wow, that just caused traffic behind the bus? Even before bus boarding islands, there's still situations where traffic will have to wait behind the bus as it boards passengers. Waste of money and causing traffic pollution. So a tool that is being added to the toolbox to assist one vehicle to move large groups of people, if people choose to use that vehicle being a public transit vehicle, you're accusing them of traffic pollution, but they are literally trying to move large groups of people in just one large vehicle versus one person in multiple vehicles. So the traffic pollution is the bus because it needs to stop at stops to pick people up and drop them off. Okay, I don't agree with that. Beautiful until you have a fire and the fire truck can't make that turn to save your house or loved ones. So now people are gonna die because of the bus boarding island.
I said what I said.
There's always traffic. Emergency vehicles have always had to navigate traffic, and they do pretty good getting through. I can tell you, I've been in cutouts where the bus is not in traffic and an emergency vehicle has to get through, and some of the people driving cars don't want to get out of the way, and they can get out of the way. And sometimes there's so much traffic that the emergency vehicle literally has to wait until traffic moves up enough for it to get around. So this one thing is not going to cause that much more of a delay. I'm pretty sure the emergency vehicles will be able to navigate. And unless there is traffic blocking the bus in front of the bus, blocking the front of the bus, yeah, that's how I want to say that. Unless there's traffic blocking the front of the bus should be able to pull up and make some room for the emergency vehicle to get through, especially if it has to make a turn right at that corner. So it shouldn't be as big of a deal. This person is literally saying this is life or death. Like some people are really reaching here. Love them, but please install a bench. Belmont Avenue in rush hour, tell me how an emergency vehicle can get by. Great way to block emergency vehicles. This one says, boarding islands are nice for bus drivers too, because then I don't have to wait forever to merge back over to get out of the stop. Agreed. Need more of these, save so much time since it prevents buses from spending 5 minutes at each bus stop because no single car will let the bus back into traffic. See, that's what I talked about.
Nobody cares.
This is an interesting comment. Hey, yeah, guess what? Just because you have a car doesn't make you more important than anyone else. In fact, the opposite. There could be 50 people on a bus versus the one in your car. So shut up about traffic. If you were all on buses, there would be no traffic. And that's a good point. And I'm not anti-car. I know there's some YouTubers and urbanist influencers who are like anti-car. But if more people would take the bus, then yeah, there would be less traffic and then it wouldn't be so many people complaining, well, what about traffic? There's going to be traffic. There's already traffic. That's part of the reason why the buses are running so slow, getting stuck in some of the bus stops. And also the lack of bus-only lanes. But even when there are bus-only lanes, guess what? These same people complaining about traffic, they'll use the bus-only lane and block that lane so the bus can't get through. Now, of course, there's also responsibilities on the side of the transit agencies and securing funding sources so that public transit can look attractive to the average person to want to leave their car at home and use public transit to go certain places. So there's a whole lot to talk about. And there's plenty of urbanist channels that talk about that. Those are the popular channels on YouTube, at least. Most people don't want to hear what a bus driver has to say about anything because some of them would be happy if we get replaced by AI, which there are places that are testing self-driving buses. So that is something that is a possibility in the future anyway. So yeah. But what do you think about the boarding bus islands? I like it. Do you like it? Whether you're a bus operator or a passenger, let me know what you think.